Well, I absolutely forgot that I didn't do ladies' night. But in the meantime, I just logged on to Twitter and just found out that they're doing a Lil Nas X's over party. I don't understand. I also only half care. Half. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about ladies' night. What? It must be Angie on the mic. The butter pea, honey, got the sugar, got the spice. Roll the L's tight, keep the rhymes right. Man, I just made this MF up last night. Girl, I've been struggling lately. Struggling. I might have had like a stroke or something because I just cannot get, I can't get myself together. Anyway, probably wasn't a stroke. It's just regular old depression, and I'm distracted. Distracted. So anyway, let's talk about ladies' night because y'all want it. Did anybody get cokehead teas from Pepper? Like, y'all know she's one of my faves. Well, they're all one of my faves. Everybody on the show is one of my faves. But I have to call a thing because Iyanla would be disappointed if I didn't. She looked like she was on drugs. She looked like she was on drugs. They come into the room, SWV is in the studio, and they're supposed to be getting, prepared for this song that we never saw them select a beat. We never saw them write out no lyrics, but they in the studio already. Because I guess they just got money to be in the studio. SWV sitting in the studio, they're very disappointed because Salt-N-Pepa didn't show up to, where was it? The Caymans. Girl, I was going to say Belize, but it wasn't Belize. They didn't show up to the Caymans. Spinderella was the only one that came. And, of course, we all know Lily was hurt. She was upset and disappointed as a woman. I'm like, girl, Lily, sweetie, did you think you was finna elope and marry Pepper over in the Caymans? What is go as a woman? So they're upset, and Taj is speaking up for her sister, telling telling Pepper that Lily was upset because you didn't call her, and it's just like, girl, I really think Lily has a crush on Pepper, like in real life. She's just like, sweetie, I don't think that's Pepper's ministry. I don't think that she's gonna go there with you. I don't think so. Anyway, they arguing kind of back and forth about, well, you could have called and you sent, you had Jimmy call and it wasn't a business meeting, it was a friendship, girls trip, and blah, 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 blah. And I found myself just having a hard time caring. Because, not even caring, just focusing. Because Pepper was over there just doing the absolute most. She was giving you a lot of movements and a lot of, I can't do too much because, again, my tripod is sitting on top of my laptop on top of my bed. So when I move, the camera moves. And we don't need that. When I move, you move. Just like that. But she was just giving a lot. Now, Spinderella, when Salt-N-Pepa and Spinderella came into the function, Spinderella sits way away from everybody else, and they're like, girl, why are you way over there? Like, you are 48 years old. Stop being childish. All this whining and carrying on. And then Salt-N-Pepa said Spinderella didn't have eye, but you were supposed to have our backs, in the Caymans. And she's like, I did have y'all's back. And I'm like, she kind of did, but she kind of didn't. She was like, that's how they are, but don't be too mad at them. It was just a whiny back and forth, girl. A whiny back and forth. But Salt said something very interesting. She said something about Spinderella being in the group and supposed to have her back. And I was like, now she in the group? She in the group now? Now that when you want something from her, she's in the group. But when she wants something from you, she's not. See, this is why I see what Spinderella is talking about. I know she's whiny. I know she does too much. But I see what she's talking about. Because why, Salt, would you say she's in the group when all this time you said she's not, and she's a hired DJ and got the folks all on the YouTube and the Twitter, going back and forth about whether Spinderella is a DJ or whether she's a DJ in the group. Like, girl, anyway, Coco drops the bomb that they going on the Toni Braxton tour, and Salt-N-Pepa's like, what's that about? And it's like, girl, you had them on probation and they decided not to play your game, period. And they went on tour with Toni Braxton. Spinderella at some point gets up and tiptoes on out the building, and Pep goes behind her. Now they on the street, and Pepper's, look, I told my mama, if I'm walking down the street and I see somebody doing all that Pepper was doing, I would assume that was a crackhead. I would. She was moving and she was doing her hat, and I was like, girl, what is all of this? What is all of this? She had told us when she was in the studio about how she had a car accident and her neck gets messed up, and maybe she was just zooted on the pain medication for her neck, but she was giving me far too much. Far too much. They all need to call Iyanla if we be honest. So Salt calls the girls over to her house to butter them up so that they will go to Australia, because they've already told the promoters, and the promoters already done promoted that it's gonna be Salt-N-Pepa and SWV. So Salt calls the girls over and is like, will y'all please come to Australia with us, pretty please? And they're just like, oh, she's so sweet, we sure will. And then Salt and Coco have a divorce conversation because Coco is just really going through a child. The next scene we see is, honey, the notary public stamping that final stamp on the divorce paperwork. Coco done signed it after the notary stamps it. She said, that's it. After I stamp it, it's done. And it's like, no, you still got to file it. You still have to send it in to the clerks and the courts. But thank you for your your contribution, putting the stamp on it. Anyway, girl. But the divorce is official. Coco then goes on to cry. Her mama and her best friend all up in the house together, and she acting like these emotions are brand new. And I just don't know where this is coming from, these new emotions. I'm like, girl, you been having panic attacks. You hid in a closet like 3 episodes ago, crying and carrying on, talking about how Taj triggered you. And I'm just like, sweetie, these are not new emotions. These are the old emotions. These are the doesn't take much to make me happy and make me smile with glee emotions. These are the best of my love emotions. Girl, what are you talking about? Child, these are the don't ask my neighbors emotions. These are the Boogie Wonderland emotions. If y'all don't get the reference, girl, the Emotions is a group and they sang all those songs. I know the young girls sometimes be like, I don't get it. It's a group, honey. It's a group. Mama Coco emboldens Coco to not go to Australia. She's like, I just don't think you should go. I'm like, girl, this is business. We can't. This is what I don't like. I remember even on the SWV show that they had on WeTV. Was it WeTV or Bravo? I think it was WeTV. I didn't like that mama because she enables and emboldens Coco to be Coco. And we don't like Coco's behavior. The mama's like, well, you just shouldn't go to Australia. And it's like, girl, this is how your daughter makes money. You can't be telling your daughter just because, oh, you're sad. Oh, you're going through a divorce. Do you know how many people done went through divorce? Child, if she don't get her tail up here and go to work. Anyway, and then Coco storms out of the house. She's telling the cameraman, don't follow me. I don't know why y'all get on these reality shows and get emotional and tell the cameraman don't follow you. They gonna follow you. It's in your contract. It's in your contract. It's like on Potomac when, what's her name, girl? Karen stormed out in New Orleans and said, no, don't follow me, to the cameraman, and walked into a room with another camera. Girl, we looking at you. We gonna be looking at you. It don't matter. Anyway, she storms off, honey. She drives off. She's still mic'd. And you can hear her telling Lily calling Lily saying, I need to talk to you. But Lily don't answer because Lily was probably with her man child. She ain't got time for this foolishness. But Lily calls her back, I guess, at some point, or Coco calls again and Lily answers, and Lily decides to tell Coco not to come to Australia as well. And I'm like, I don't want to hear Lily, and Taj agreed. So I don't want to hear Lily and Taj say nothing else about how Coco is ruining opportunities for them and how they can't do nothing because y'all told her to go. Y'all told her to stay. I don't want to hear nothing else about how she messing up the money because y'all told her to stay at home and Coco was going to stay at home. Y'all didn't make a big fuss about you need to be your tail here in Australia. You know you're the lead singer. You done made it very clear and purposeful that you are the lead singer of SWV. You need to be here and lead sing. But no, they tell her don't come. And so they go to Australia and Coco's not there. And they walk into the Salt-N-Pepa suite, I guess, where Salt-N-Pepa are sitting there and Spinderella looking like, queens over the kingdom, dominion and power. And SWV has to walk in there and say, well, Coco's not here. And they're like, she ain't coming to dinner? No, she not coming to Australia. And now they just like, what? What? Y'all need to stop letting this girl off the hook and telling her she don't have to come to work. Just because she can sing high and sound like a mosquito. Girl, if y'all don't replace Coco with Keith Sweat, they sound the same. Coco just sing higher. But they both sound like mosquitoes. Put Keith Sweat in SWV and let him be a sister with a voice, girl. Anyway, in the meantime, girl, Spinderella's still whining. She and Taj link up at some point, and Taj asks her, would you actually leave Salt-N-Pepa? And she's like, I would, yeah. And that's the end of the episode, girl. It wasn't nothing. It ain't nothing, but the show need to be called Spinderella Whines and Coco Walks Out, because don't nothing else happen. That's it. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things the YouTubers say. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.